Can everybody hear me? Hope everything looks right. Looks good. Uh, Sorry about the delay, everybody. Y'all know what happens. Think everybody gets busy. We had another cat escape. So, Jean Baptiste, how you doing today? It's good to see you. Hopefully my setup's a little bit better today. I actually have some light. I am outside. You can probably see a little bit of the sunset behind me. It's about to get a little bit darker, but not too bad. What's your scent of the day, my friend? How you doing? It's good to see you. I've been doing pretty good myself. Not bad. Same old, same old. Always trying out some new fragrances, indie perfume. Um, Hopefully, I'm gonna save up a little money, and I know some new indie brands, and I want to explore them. I have plenty of samples, and plenty of things I can review that to keep me happy for a long time. But it's always fun to find something else new. So I need to go to the mall. I know there's quite a few new designer releases. Y'all probably want reviews of those designers, don't you? I went with English Laundry Windsor. Windsor's really nice. It's a really good fragrance for the price on the gray market. I mean, it's definitely good value, very good value for the money. Um, are y'all excited about any of the new releases that are coming out? I want to try that new Armani Gold, or it's like gold. It's like gold something. It's like gold. I want to say it starts with a Z, or it's like the special gold edition. I really need to try the new Hugo Boss Absolute. I tried the Privé, and it's very nice, but for some odd reason, it either has bad longevity, which I doubt. I think it has good longevity, but it makes my nose go very blind very quickly, probably even faster than Aventus. Aventus tends to make my no. I just go nose blind really, really fast with that fragrance. Absolute Gold. Yeah, that's the one. It has like that little Z or that like little calligraphy strike on the bottle. It looks pretty nice. I've heard good things about it. I think I saw a review of Redolescence and Brooklyn Fragrance Lover were talking about it. I think they said it was pretty good. I think everybody I've seen had pretty good things to say about it. So looking forward to trying that one. Maybe it'll be the right Goldilocks fragrance because I so far haven't liked any of that collection, the Code collection. I mean, they're good fragrances. Don't get me wrong, and they're mass appealing and pretty easy to wear. The Profumo sells very well. It's a big top seller. Lots of people like it, and it has pretty good performance for sure. But I'm picky. Hopefully you are a little bit, and pick something that you like that just fits you just right. Something perfect. I like to joke around, say it's like the Goldilocks effect. Y'all probably know the little story when you were a kid. Some porridge is too hot, some's too cold, some's just right. So yeah, they've been talking about it to death. It is kind of funny that some things get popular designer wise, Mr. Cheap Sense. It's really funny that some of the fragrances get a lot of talk. There's a lot of other new designer releases, and they're not getting very much talk at all. But some of them get the talk. It's kind of funny how that happens, isn't it? It's good to see you, Mr. Cheap Sense. Happy that you're spending some time with me. You're a cool guy. I was happy to see your review of those Pochettes fragrance. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. I forget if it's Pochettes or Pochettes. I'm like you. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. But I really liked Windsor, like you did. I thought that was a nice fragrance. And I probably need to rewatch your video and see what you thought about some of those other ones. They have a huge collection, don't they? It's crazy. Some of these indie brands, it's like, I mean, some people are already overwhelmed with how many designer releases there are, how many niche fragrances there are. And then you get indie, and you start looking into indie, and you find a new house, and the house can have 100 or 200 fragrances. So, um, I mean, the world's your oyster. If you want to explore and find something new, the variety seems endless. It seems like there's a never-ending variety of fragrance. But, that's not for everybody. Some people just want to know the indies, and they just want to smell great. And but you know, everybody's different, and that's one amazing thing in the fragrance world. There's all kinds of different fragrance lovers. So um, I am interested in niche. Are the dogs bothering y'all? They're being kind of crazy. What's that? Cookie in them? I don't know where Cookie is. Cookie's over there. Let me see here. I'm sorry about that, my friends. Anyways, and once I'm done with Scentbox subscription, I'm gonna do luxury Scentbox. You got me wanting to try them. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about. Somebody in the comment section essentially told me that, kind of in a sideways way, or you know, kind of indirectly, was telling me that aren't these the same things as Scentbird, and I think that there's a difference with the companies. Hey there, Fragenstein. It's good to see you. Um, you know, luxury scent box, they do have some designer fragrances, but I think the big difference is how they market themselves. Luxury scent box is not near as big as Scentbird is. Scentbird kind of controls and dominates the decant market, especially the subscription decant market. They market very heavily, and one of the things I have a video coming out soon, and Mr. Cheap, since you challenged me to do that video, and probably it's a very good thing that you challenged me to, because there are big pros and big cons about them. But one of the big cons and one of the big things against Scentbird is that they use influencers. They do not use fragrance enthusiasts. You know, they'll find somebody that has 500,000, a million subscribers on YouTube and send them a bunch of fragrances, and they don't know, they don't know, Dior from, Gucci. I mean, fragrance wise, they don't know what they're getting into. I watched a video, and there was this gal, and sure, she had a personality, and she was funny and attractive and charming and all that, but she thought the name of the fragrance was Etat Libre d'Orange. She didn't know that that was even the brand of the fragrance. I meant, so she had no idea what the fragrance was. But that's kind of one of the bad things about the brand, and they really try to focus on designer fragrances. Scentbird does, because that's where they're making most of their money, if the majority of their money. Luxury Scent Box tries to focus more on the niche. They have harder to find niche. Yes, Scentbird has been getting more and more niche, but it's not easy to find. When their Rojas first came out, you actually had to know that they had Rojas, and I just typed it in their search box for fun. It actually was not advertised, and I found it pretty early. And I don't have a Scentbird subscription anymore. I actually ended that in January. But I do have some. I mean, I still have my decants, some of them, but you know, that was a good value. The Elysium, the Rojas for the money, and recently they had Rock Rose from Christian. You know, anyways, I don't know how they do it. It's a huge value for money. Um, the safe I don't know where they get those. Maybe they had some liquidated stock. Maybe it wasn't selling well for the price, and they bought. I don't know. Scentbird bought some up. I'm not sure exactly, but sometimes they do have some niche that's worth it. But overall, it's more of an ethical thing. I think people have with Scentbird. They're just kind of underhanded. That's one of the big problems with them. And I did that video, and I was a little bit more positive with luxury scent box, because if people get behind the brand, if they're buying niche and people tell them that they want more of the niche fragrances, then they're going to become more of what we want them to be. And honestly, that's how the brand first started. They were just focused on niche fragrances, and they probably saw that a lot of people were buying designers, and they saw Scentbird, and they started adding in more of those designer fragrances. So I hope that y'all don't think that I was just overtly positive about the brand. Luxury Scent Box actually has quite a limited selection. They don't have a lot of fragrances to choose from, but I was very happy to showcase their brand and tell y'all, kind of break down the price. The price for what you're getting per mil, what you're getting per decant. So um, hopefully I did that justice. I'm trying to do my best, guys. And I was honest about the brand. I I think that they're decent, but I don't know how long you're going to be a return customer because their inventory is just so limited. And they do have new stuff come in from time to time. That they used to carry Cortana fragrances, and that's how I got my hands on Wolfbane. And that's quite a niche fragrance. It's not a lot of people know about Cortana fragrances. Uh, they launched their brand based off poisonous flowers, very exotic flowers, and very exotic ingredients. And wolfsbane is based off, wolf's flower, which was used to kill wolves. And it's a very interesting fragrance. It's a very dark, floral fragrance made specifically for men. And I've never. It's earthy and it's interesting. If you like Black Orchid, you've got to get your hands on it. Um, I want a bottle. I just can't afford one right now. It's not overly expensive, or I guess extremely. I think they're 1.7 ounces, and I think they're 180 or so. That is quite pricey, but it's not extreme. It's not like a Clive Christian. Um, 500 to 1,000, or Roja fragrance that's $1,000, cheaper extraordinaire, those kinds of things. Um, anyways, two of them smell great, and the others are going to be challenging. I see. Yeah, they definitely are a little bit more on the artistic side. They're a little bit more creative, but we appreciate. I appreciate your honesty, and I'm sure the brand does as well. They're a very nice brand. Overall, as far as indie goes, I think they're pretty good. Of course, there are indie that probably out there that probably smell better, but some indies more expensive. So value wise, they're pretty nice, pretty nice. I talk a lot about these brands. If y'all ever have questions about them, feel free to message me about a certain fragrance. I might know a little bit about them. I might have tried it before. I think Sucre Label is probably very creative with their names and their stories. And they have a lot of creativity. I probably would give value to money to Pochettes. And for something, of course, like more gothic and maybe the most artistic of the bunch is Andromeda's Curse. But they're more Halloween inspired. That's not going to be for everybody. Um, Let me see here. Hi there, mate. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm just chilling out with y'all. I'm happy to have a good evening. I think I'm gonna do a live tomorrow as well. Um, anyways, it says rocking Mansara Red Tobacco today, and it's picking up compliments right and left. You're right. Mansara fragrances are very good for compliments. Mansara fragrances are a little bit linear, but that's not exactly a negative thing. It just means the fragrance doesn't change a lot. And Mansara fragrances do tend to have a good amount of sweetness to them. To a Western nose, a lot of people actually really, really like sweet fragrances, and that's one reason Cedroc Boise is a top seller. Cedroc Boise flies off the shelves. Instant Crush is one of the fragrances I got from Luxury Scent Box, and I can see why that fragrance flies off the shelves too. For a while they couldn't keep it on the shelves. People were ordering it, pre-ordering it, calling in, saying, "Do you have it in stock? Can I get it? When do you have it in stock?" So, about the only Mansara I've really loved and fallen in love with so far is Black Oud, and it's not a heavy oud fragrance, but it's more of a medicinal oud, and then it's kind of heavy vanilla, and it's a little bit dark. I really like that one. I find it charming and seductive. It's my personality, that's for sure. Um, but anyways, thank you for sharing, Fragenstein. I always like your name too. I think it's funny and creative. Kind of like my name is, and Centaur. It's like scent combined with a centaur. Again, if y'all don't know, a centaur in mythology is a half horse, half man. Usually, kind of something like an archer. They're in the Harry Potter movies and all kinds of things like that. So I just thought it was funny. And then y'all know Centurion made his based off a centurion, which I think is like a Roman soldier of sorts. So, anyways, um, Michael Hodges says, "Sup, man? How you doing? Love your channel." Oh, Chan, man. Okay, channel. Yeah, Hafez 1984. That's a good one. If you're as far as woody fragrances go and something that's a little bit boozy, that Hafez 1984, some good stuff. I personally like the intense version a lot more. Um, I hopefully Alexandria wants to work with me. They've chatted with me a little bit here and there. Maybe they're scoping me out. Maybe they're waiting until I get a little bit bigger. But I like the brand overall. I think they're good value for money. And for a while, Boardroom, if y'all don't know, is a copy of Jeremy Fragrance's Office for Men, and that was they have batches, just like a lot of brands, but a lot of batches they don't tend to sell out that fast. Boardroom sold out like instantly. The second batch they put up sold in like 3 or 4 days, and I think it might be sold out maybe again. That's I think it's funny. And that, if y'all don't, I'm poking fun, I guess, again at Jeremy, but if y'all don't know, like he made a video about the fragrance rules or the things you should never do in fragrance, and you can tell that again he was kind of angry or kind of disturbed. He sometimes gets that way. And if you've been watching or if you've been around in the fragrance community, you know what I'm talking about. And if you read between the lines when he talks about clones, you know that he's angry because he eventually figured out that people were buying Boardroom like crazy and then he lost a bunch of sales, which was interesting. But it's a $60. You get 50 mils for like 60 bucks. Uh, you know, and you don't have to fuss with buying 2 bottles. And people were saying it was great. Anyways, half sit, half man, Viola. That's right, man. Part scent. That's what my name was for. That's why I made my name the Scentatar Fragrance. Dig your name. I'm glad you like it, man. I thought it was unique, but it's kind of corny. I know it's kind of funny, kind of a joke. I was kind of worried that people didn't like it for a while. A lot of big YouTubers just use their name, and or maybe I don't know what else they do. Some of these guys they just use their names and they seem to do it. So I don't know. Valleyvon's in the house. Hey, Mr. Cheapsense was in the house. He might still be here. Oh, there he is. It's good to see you, Valley Vaughn. You're a great lady, and I'm looking forward to seeing your reviews of Posset's fragrances. I guess we're all friends with of Posset's. It was a price thing. Most can't afford to pay what these guys are charging, and not a clone, especially if it's cheaper. That's right. Most just don't like Jeremy though. Yeah, yeah, I can see that for sure. Um, I agree. A lot of people don't want to pay a lot for fragrances. I wish that I had the ability to poll a lot of people and say like, what's the max you would spend on a fragrance? Is it $20? Is it $30? Is it 40? Is it 50? Is it 60? Is it 70? Is it 80? And then you start getting, and seeing where the ratio of people, it starts breaking off probably. After 30, 40, 50, there's probably a big break off. That's probably where the majority of people want to be. And then it's 60, 70, 80. There's probably a bigger break off, and that's probably the majority of people is, free, $0 to 80. And then it gets, less and less people are willing to pay more. From 80 to like 120, there's probably a break off, and there's probably a even bigger break off at like 150. And once you get past $150 for a fragrance, you're getting into like the 1% of fragrance enthusiasts and the 1% of the big fragrance aficionados. And it gets crazy after you pass 100 or 250. I mean, how many people can afford that? How many people want to afford that? That's like a big luxury purchase. That's a big investment. That's like, for example, with a car. There's your average Toyotas, there's your average Hondas, and then you might say that there's something a little bit better than that. Maybe a Chevrolet or a Ford. And I did work at a mechanic shop. I have worked at a Ford dealership, so I know a little bit about cars. I don't know everything, so I am making a big broad statement, but I think I can say a little bit. And then you start moving up to the bigger brands and the better brands, and you start jumping towards, the Porsches and the Ferraris and those higher end things. It's like how many people pay for those. There's like a big break off. It's like the average person is happy with the Toyotas, they're happy with their Hondas, they're happy with their Kias. But a lot of people probably would pay a little bit more, you know, like the $80, and probably would like a Chevrolet or a Ford. And then there's people who want something a little bit extra bougie or fancy, and they might go for a Chanel, they might go for a Dior or a Guerlain. They might go a little bit fancy, but a lot of people don't break through that barrier and they don't go up anything. Most people don't go above that. They don't go for like a Lexus. They don't go for BMWs or Mercedes. And then the people who have buco bucks, the big bucks, the crazy bucks, you know, the people who are able to buy the Ferraris and the Lambos and the Bentleys. There's so very few people who actually buy those, who can't afford it, who want to afford it. So I guess I just made a big analogy of cars compared to fragrances. If you know about cars, you know what I'm saying. There's just a smaller and smaller group of people who either want to afford who can afford, such a big purchase. Anyways, I hope that made sense. I hope that y'all like that. And if y'all notice, I am shivering a tiny bit. I'm not too cold, but I am outside. I should have grabbed a jacket. Um, anyways, what happened? I missed it. Oh no, you didn't miss too much, Valley Vaughn. Mr. Cheap Sense is still in the house. We were just talking a little bit about indie fragrances and value per money and some of the fragrances we're excited about. What are you excited about, Valley Vaughn? Are there any new designer fragrances that catch your eye? Are there any new niche fragrances that are interesting to you? I'm always excited to hear. Always excited to hear. And you got great content too. It's always good to see. Let me see. Hopefully, I'm not missing anybody's comments. If I do, let me know. I'm very sorry. Gene says, Centaur, Valley Vaughn, and Mr. Cheap Sense in the same chat. Man, fragrance royalty right now. What's up, guys? Thank you for the big compliment, Gene. That's a big compliment. Yeah, there's some true blue people, some good people. Hey, his and hers fragrance reviews is in the house. He's a good guy too. You gotta check him out. If y'all haven't given his and hers fragrance reviews a chance, yeah, I think last time I checked, you had like 60. I still think you're below 100. Give this guy a chance. Check him out. He's a humble guy. He's a good guy. I like his taste in fragrances. So his and hers fragrance reviews is legit. All these guys are legit. And of course, I always, I would love too if y'all could help me get to 2,000. I mean, I hope I can get there soon. Y'all know that I wanted to get there by Christmas, and now it's February. I'm kind of hanging in there. I'm like, come on, I'm so close. Get me to the 2,000. Anyways, that's not very important, but the Frankenstein says, I like the idea of creating YouTube persona and going by it. Sent to the app is really appealing to me. Just brings out humor. I mean, in the end of the day, it's our hobby. Yeah, you're right. And I don't have anything against a persona. What I bring to the YouTube community and the fragrance community is myself. This is 100% authentically me. I do try to put a little pep in my step when I start a video. Some people say I sound like a broadcaster because I can really put my voice out there, but I really want to grab people's attention when I start a video. It's like, hey, I'm here, and I'm talking about fragrance. So, I do understand a persona. Y'all know that Big Beard Business. He crushes the boxes. He puts on his personality, and I don't think that there's anything deceptive about that. If you find your own little angle, and it's still you. If that's truly something that fits with you, and it's something that fits with your personality. Y'all know that Cuba knows he does the real deal, and Cuba knows has a mouth on him. He's got that character about him. He's got a lot of energy. So everybody's got their own thing going on. Mr. Miami Cuddles. For a while he struggled there. He had some crazy editing going on. But Mr. Miami Cuddles, I think, is really coming into his own with his own personality and his own style, and I think people are really starting to like him. And he's doing well. So I'm losing people in the chat talking about other people. I don't know. Don't go away. um, so I'm 100% authentically me. I don't really. Maybe I should find some kind of angle, some kind of personality. Maybe I need to get a black leather jacket and just like talk smooth over here. I don't know. Maybe I need to do something funny. I don't know. Um. Anyways, Frankenstein says I personally gravitate towards a channel like that. A personal bias, maybe low. Yeah. Oh, no problem. I understand. Everybody likes a personality. So a lot of people like entertainment mixed into their fragrance reviews. I try to do that a little bit more, be a little bit more personable. Y'all probably are curious about, has something changed with me? If y'all ever are curious about that, I'm still not 100% comfortable in front of a camera, talking to a camera, 100% to an audience and to people I don't exactly know. I am naturally a INFJ, so I'm not exactly introvert and I'm not a extrovert. I'm somewhere in between. I like to be around people, but I don't like the spotlight. I like to be involved with people and care about people. I even like to do a lot of service, but I don't exactly always want to be like in a big like a conversation or a forum with like lots of people. I don't always want to do that, and sometimes it can drain me because I'm always looking for a way to improve something. And some people have said like asked me if I'm a psychiatrist because that's what I kind of gravitate towards is like find these people find me and I find them, and I give support and encouragement and help, and it can take a lot of effort. So we're all different for sure. Um, but what you see is what you get with me. um, Anyways, let me know if there's something about my personality or if there's something maybe I could do that you'd enjoy. Mr. Cheapsense says, "Who wants to pay all that money for most fragrances that don't even perform? Paying over 100 for something that fades in a few hours." Yeah, I understand, Mr. Cheapsense. It really depends on how much money you have. You know, some people have $1 million cars. Some people have houses that are worth 15, 20, 30, maybe more $1 million. It all depends on what's it worth to you. Um, for me, I do like niche fragrances. I just can't afford them a lot of the time, so I save up. And the niche fragrances I do have, it took me a lot of money to save up to get them. I did get into affordable scents really early on, but I never bought a lot of them, and I started giving them away and selling them in bundles kind of early on, kind of before I even started my channel. I never had hundreds of them, but I understand it really is relative to what you want and to what you need. Um, with the price of fragrances, that's a whole other discussion. Um, some ingredients for fragrances are worth as much as gold. Rose Absolute, Orris, Ambergris, and Oud. All of those are extremely expensive and almost are worth as much as gold, sometimes more. So it really depends on the naturals that are used, what's going into it, and all those other things. I understand, and that's why a lot of people go for more synthetic fragrances or just for normal designer fragrances. Um, it just really depends on what you're into. Like if I had the money, I probably would buy Costa Azura by Tom Ford. I think it's a great citrusy fragrance. I think it's one of the best citruses on the market. But it only lasts 3 or 4 hours, or maybe 4 hours. Every time I've worn that fragrance, I feel like I'm bleeding money because it's like a 250, $300 fragrance. It gives me kind of weak performance. It lasts 3 or 4 hours, and it's gone. So you're spending $2 or $3 every 3 hours to smell pretty good, but it's more of an aquatic scent, so it's not terribly even unique. There's not anything terribly unique about it. I think that it's a lot of that's one thing us reviewers do. That's one a great service we do to other people in the world and the fragrance community. I think that's one of the things that maybe us as fragrance reviewers need to focus more on is value for money. A lot of people just focus on the scent, how does it smell, but is it actually worth the money? There are a lot of aquatic scents out there, especially in the niche world, like the Maison France Courtisan, their aquatic line, and some of these fragrances, there's really no reason why if they're using synthetics and these aquatic notes and all these things, the value isn't there. They can't really justify the price. I'm not in the industry. I don't know all the details. I did go to college, for business. So, but I'd like to see their margins. I'd like to see what's their cost per bottle. Is it, you know, 10% of, what you're charging? What's your margins? Because some of these brands just have to be crazy. Y'all know what a Maison French's Courtisan cost for their, Aqua Universalis. And I can't imagine that that's terribly expensive to make. There might be a little bit of jasmine tucked in there, but jasmine's expensive, that's for sure. Anyways, hope I wasn't too ranty, Mr. Cheap Sense, but I agree. A lot of people just want to smell good. They want their fragrance to last, and that's all they really care about. If they're not really getting naturals, that's not going to bother them. They don't really have to get the natural rose, natural orris, natural Mysore sandalwood, exotic ouds. I got a sample of oud sent to me recently, and I didn't know how much it was worth, but I'm very grateful to him, and I'm gonna do a review for him. But he sent me a little point 0.3 of a milliliter, point 0.3 of a milliliter, so it was like 30% of 1 ml. And if y'all, I don't want to play a guessing game, but I kind of want to. I want to see how much y'all think that was worth, but I'll just tell y'all. If y'all want to guess real quick below, let me know real quick. But it was 25 bucks for 30% of 1 ml. And for that's how expensive this oud, real natural oud is. And it's one of my favorite ouds I've ever come across. I'm going to do a review of it soon. For 3 mils, it cost 180, I think it was euros. So that's about 200 bucks. So that's something like 60 odd dollars per mil. That's crazy money. No, most people don't want to spend that, but it's an attar, it's pure, and it'll last a very long time. But and there's oud that's a lot more expensive than that. But it gets crazy. Gene says three of my absolute favorite fragrance personalities. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. Mr. Cheapson says, "What up, Gene?" DJ Ginkai's in the house. Scent of the day: 10 sprays of Dior Leather Oud. That's a nice fragrance. A lot of people love it. A lot of people adore it. It's a little bit animalic for me, but you're smelling good, my friend. 10 sprays, you're rocking. And you probably got, what, $5 of fragrance on you? I'm just teasing you. Um, Fairlawn Islands says, it seems like the YouTube reviewers are losing steam. There are a few big names, and everybody else feeds off the scraps. It's the way of the world. Well, you brought up another big topic in the world of fragrance, in the world of YouTube. I don't know if y'all pay attention to YouTube changes, YouTube. I don't want to say some of the keywords that possibly would get me flagged, but YouTube, things that can make chaos in the fragrance, in the YouTube world, just in general. About 2 or 3 months ago, YouTube publicly said that they're changing the algorithm to favor more authoritative content. That means that if you're a new person, that if you're an upcoming reviewer, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get steam. It's going to be a lot more difficult for YouTube to give you, views for you to get suggested, for people to be able to see you. And the people who already have more and more views, they're going to get more and more supported, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And they were doing that to protect themselves because, there's a lot of upcoming people, and YouTube wants to have different methods and different tools to be able to control who's on their platform. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty about who should be and who should not be allowed on the platform, and the advertisers and all that different all that jazz. But by golly, it makes the uphill struggle even harder. Instead of an incline, we're going straight uphill now, my friends. And yeah, you're very right. And that's one reason, if y'all have noticed, pretty recently, some of these bigger channels, they're growing faster and faster. faster than I've ever seen a lot of these channels grow, and that's one reason it's happening. And I think they might have implemented that change even stronger recently. So let me see. But I agree. It takes a lot of effort to keep up a YouTube channel. It takes up a lot of encouragement, and that's what's one of the things I wanted to bring out in my live today. You 10 people are the people who truly support me, who truly care about me, and I'm still going to review fragrances, but I just want to let y'all know I did have a little bit of a hard time keeping up the channel a little bit this week because the world doesn't revolve around subscribers. This isn't the most important thing in the world. This isn't, to get a subscriber, to get a view. That's not really what really matters. Things like, having a healthy life and being productive, building, your local community and your family and pursuing your dreams. Those kinds of things are what's most important. But I looked at I get these newsletters through my emails from YouTube, and it tells you about your stats and all these numbers. And I looked at it, and for January I had 24 subs, and I uploaded I think every day just about except maybe 2 or 3 times. So I put out I don't know over 24 25 videos, and I don't even know if I got a sub a video. That's kind of disheartening, but I know that I'm doing this for passion, and I know that maybe brighter things are ahead in the future, and I feel like it's still very worthwhile for me to do these videos because that I'm not really here for the subs. I'm not here for those things. I would like them, and of course, you would like to see more and more people enjoying your content, becoming your friends, understanding who you are, getting to know you. But that's not everything that matters. I still have a lot of friends. I still have a lot of people who care about my content, and I'm helping a lot of people as it is. So I'm not discouraged, but it was a little bit of a struggle um, because recently there was another reviewer. There was another reviewer, and I don't want to sound like I'm putting you down on her. I mentioned her before. She's a great reviewer. She's a great lady. She's doing great work. But Mr. Cheap Sense, you probably know exactly what I'm feeling. You produce content like crazy. You produce content even more than I do. I don't know what kind of work you're doing with your tags. I try to put out good thumbnails, and we're all struggling and trying different angles in the game. But this lady, she produces maybe 2 videos a week. She has half or less than half of the content I have. She's been reviewing fragrances for less than half of the time I have. I actually encouraged her to create her channel, and she just surpassed me. So that kind of discourages you. I've been surpassed by a couple other fragrance reviewers. I don't really want to mention their names. I don't want to start any controversy. I still think they're good reviewers overall. I wish them the best of luck. And maybe I don't know how they got blessed by the YouTube gods. I don't know, but one of them has over doubled me. Two of them have over doubled me, and this lady, she just surpassed me, and it only took her like 6 months. So I don't know if that just speaks to if I'm not a great, or I don't know, but it's a struggle. The struggle's real. Anyways, let me catch up with the comments. Let me catch up. It says reviewers are losing steam. Yeah, we're feeding off the scraps. And of course, I'm producing more indie content, more niche, and getting into a little bit more artistic or unexplored territory. So I understand a little bit what's happening, but you kind of wish that there was a big indie, a lot of not reviewers who loved indie content, and I kind of wish that they would come out of the woodwork. And anyways. Mr. Cheap Sense, loved your Timbuktu video. Centaur turned me on to it. Love it. Yeah, I love that you reviewed that fragrance, Mr. Cheap Sense. I know that's a little bit different for you. It's a little bit out of your comfort zone, perhaps. but I'm happy to see that it's kind of growing on you. You know, you don't have to love it if I love it, but I think that Timbuktu captures the smell of Africa. I think it's a very unique, spicy scent. I think it's, as far as niche goes, or more of a very unique, as far as unique scents goes, it's fairly affordable. If you're gonna like things like African leather by Memo, and if you're not scared of incense like fragrances, I think that Timbuktu is wonderful. If you like vetiver, I think you're definitely gonna love it. And I was happy that you noticed that there was vetiver in that fragrance. Yeah, there's a lot of vetiver in that fragrance, Mr. Cheap Sense. Gene, that was finally my first time smelling it, and I owe it to a subscriber that sent me some samples they had and I haven't smelled. Yeah, it's always fun, and they're very generous to help you out. I love that. You know, sometimes, you know, we're not, us as fragrance reviewers, we're exploring, we're trying to find things, but there are so many other great fragrance lovers out there, and there are some guys out there who have like 500 fragrances or more. They have very exclusive taste, and they don't have YouTube channels, so you never know who's out there. Some of those guys who like watch Raj's channel, if y'all know who Raj is, he's a good reviewer. He's got a personality of his own. He's kind of in his own world, but he's a cool guy, and his collection's crazy. And some of the guys who watch his content have just crazy, crazy collections. I mean, I don't know how much money. I think Robes talked about how many fragrances he had, and if you did the math, they've spent like over 200,000 on fragrances. So I mean, there's people, Mister Cheap Sense. They got the dough, they got the money, they got some, they got it serious. They got it. They got something to throw. Me and you maybe don't. I'm here with you. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not rolling. I can't pull like I can't pull a stack of hundreds or bins out of my pockets. So not yet. I'm working on it, but not yet. Anyways, DJ says the only channel that makes me lose interest are the ones that try too hard to come up with quirky subjects, like the best vetivers that make women give them numbers. It's very true. And I think some, if y'all watched Fragrance Apprentice, he did one of his videos was super funny. It was more with, I forget her name. She was a fantastic red-haired lady on his channel, and I maybe he was under the influence as well. Those videos were hilarious. If you don't know what I'm talking about, find those videos. He has like a friend, and he's getting a lady to review some of his, you know, give comments about some of his fragrances, and he talks about, you know, he jokes and he's really sarcastic about, you know, he's talking about fragrances that get the ladies to, you know, like the guys just because you wear a fragrance. You know, it's like magic, and that's not how it is, guys. You know, fragrances certainly do help, but I don't. A lady's really not just gonna, you know, want to have fun. You know, just because you smell good. There's a lot more to it. Um, but I agree. Sometimes those get really funny, don't they, DJ? They get kind of funny. E. Jean Baptiste says, I go up to 100 for fragrance as a birthday gift for myself or Christmas. Mine then regularly isn't an option. I agree. It's a real splurge. And another thing in the fragrance community we just don't talk enough about, and one of the things I've been trying to talk about is that fragrances last. Right? A bottle of fragrance, if you wear that very regularly, it's probably going to last you 6 months, maybe a whole year, depending on how much you spray, how strong the fragrance is. So if you have a big collection, one bottle, a full ounce, you know, a full size bottle, you know, a 3.4 ounce, is probably going to last you, you know, 2 maybe 3 years or more. For me personally, I tend to save my niche fragrances for special occasions or whenever I'm in the mood. So my niche fragrances might last me for the one bottle might last me for the rest of my life, because I just wear those for very special occasions. You know, and some of them are very special to me. Like Fan Your Flames by Nichane was the first niche fragrance I ever bought. I feel like it's very, very classy, very upscale. I would only wear it to very fancy occasions, very special events. It smells boozy and mature and gentlemanly. and I love it. Things like that, like Moon Milk by Stora Skogen. I just feel like that fragrance is far too expensive for me personally to wear it regularly. It costs like 150 bucks or so for 30 mils. If you do the math, that's like 450, plus taxes and shipping and all that. Essentially for 100 mils. That's like a $500 fragrance. I just For me, I can't. I'm not gonna wear that casually. Anyways, I understand E. Jean Baptiste. Yeah, I gotta save up to spend that big money. 2,500. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Mr. Cheapsins, I feel like the trolls and people who just love to start drama need to be banned from YouTube. Most who have hard time with trolls on YouTube or troublemakers aren't good for FradCon. Well, that's another thing. I don't know if YouTube should take personal action into the situations like that. I don't know if YouTube needs to directly do that. You can always block somebody from commenting. You can hide the comments. You can outright go to what's it called, the YouTube creator. Go into your channel and flag certain keywords. So if somebody says a certain keyword that's offensive, it'll automatically report that as spam, and it won't even show up on your channel, and you won't really ever have to see it unless you decide to go and look at your comments that have been reported as spam. So there's ways to protect yourself. I do think that there are trolls, and in the fragrance community, there does seem to be a lot more. Maybe it's just because we're a smaller community. I don't know if there's more than usual, but there are some people who can be quite aggressive. Um, I don't know if y'all saw my video. I released it about 30 or 40 minutes before this live. After this live, I'd encourage y'all to go watch it. It's just some of my feelings and some of my opinions in the fragrance community. It's just, I have all kinds of different thoughts I'm sharing in that video, all kinds of feelings. But one of the reasons I was motivated to do that a video is because recently Tune Reviews took down his channel. He didn't upload regularly, but he was a pretty neat guy. He took down his channel, and Agnes Eva recently took down her channel. And there are some bigger reviewers who just haven't been reviewing too often, and I feel like maybe they're slowly exiting the scene. I talked to Solano, and he feels kind of the same way I do. When he puts out content, he just doesn't get a lot of comments and or too much support, and he's taking a break, and he might not review anymore. So he's a cool guy. If you want to encourage him on his channel, I'm sure he would love it. Solano's a cool guy, but it's kind of like a part-time job to do a channel. I'm not trying to complain. I love being here. I love being with you guys. But I kind of miss these people because you get involved with them. You care about these people who are reviewers. They become your friends. You get to know them, maybe a little bit if you get to chat with them, and then when they go, you kind of miss them. So that's kind of what some of the stuff that was going through my head. Um, let's see here. Baghdad. What's up, bud? Making sense. How you doing? I've learned to ignore them because I've learned that they just want attention. Yeah, Mr. Cheap Sense, I know you got some people who like to troll you. You can just block them, and if there's any keywords and maybe some kind of phrase they keep saying over and over, you can have it so you can go into your channel, into your analytics, and just get that flagged. So yeah, it is really annoying. Some people just want to get at you. And if they feel like they're getting underneath your fingernails, if they feel like they're kind of bothering you, they're really going to try to up the ante and really try to drive you bonkers. Some people are kind of crazy like that. They find some kind of sadistic pleasure out of kind of freaking people out, or making people angry, or poking people's butt, pushing the right buttons, finding what makes somebody get jump off the edge. So it's but we got your back, Mr. Cheap Sense, no doubt about it. Making Sense says, "What's up, bud? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you." Baghdad says, "Hi, Benjamin. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you too, my friend." Says you're great. I appreciate that. I try to do my best. I know I'm not perfect. If y'all probably watched some of my earlier videos, I probably seemed like I spoke pretty slowly. I'm still improving as a person. I haven't. I don't want to talk about all my life's troubles and all the things that happened in my life, but you know, I'm becoming, getting more and more confident, getting out of bad situations and all kinds of things. And we all have our struggles. So hope that I seem more confident, stronger, a better personality. And I still have a lot to work on, I know. So, but thank you for the compliment. Fragrance Journey says, "Hello, Ben. How you doing, Fragrance Journey? It's good to see you." Fragrance Journey is a real niche head. He's the real deal. Check him out. He has a great collection too. So, these people are my friends. I like to give them shout outs. If they come on here and they want to say hello, it's good to see you, Mr. Fragrance Journey. What you been up to? What you been smelling? Um, Anyways, Joseph says, "Hello, Benjamin. I'm Joseph from Iraq. Really flattered that another Iraqi has also joined the live chat. I see that rarely, to be honest, these types of chats. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. You know, maybe I just connect. I don't know why. With maybe I just with your culture. I don't know. Maybe I'm the type of guy who I just connects with all kinds of different people. I love different cultures. I listen to all kinds of different music. I don't know what kind of music y'all listen to in Iraq, but I know that there's some pop stars, some that are really popular. I think her name's Miriam Fares. How you say it? Fares. And Haifa. She's fantastic. I think she's an international, singer, and she's definitely a model. And she smites you just looking at her. I mean, you'd fall over because she's so beautiful. But um, yeah, y'all definitely. I appreciate that. I want to travel and all. So thank y'all so much for the love and support. Joseph says, by the way, I think I'm addicted to Herod, and that's not good. Herod by Parfums de Marly is a nice fragrance. The vanilla in the dry down sometimes is a love or hate relationship for me. The sweetness for me kind of stands out and is kind of odd in the dry down sometimes, but sometimes I really do love Herod. Herod's a really nice fragrance. It is. It's a really good, sweet tobacco. That's my all. That's my personal opinion. That's all. Oh, of course, Mr. Cheap Sense. I appreciate it too. Definitely not afraid of those. Yeah, those fools. It's just not good for Fradcom. I agree. I don't think it's good for us. I think that I think there's a little bit too much of that as well. I think that we could do a lot more to become better friends in the fragrance community. There's so many good people, and I think that we could chat with each other more often. I think that we could do a lot more tag videos, and I think we could all become more involved with each other. Um, as a fragrance community. And some people feel like there's too many reviewers or too many new reviewers coming out. I've never felt overwhelmed. And some people think I'm a big shot because I'm close to 2,000. I mean, I got a small head. I befriend, I subscribe to guys who just start or have less than 100 subs, and I feel connected to these guys. I mean, I feel like I'm them. I feel just like they are. So I think, yeah, we got a lot we could do, a lot to improve. Um, Bryant Worley says, "Right, Ben, YouTube shouldn't get involved. It has on the content creator. Don't let YouTube become the gods of your channel." Yeah, I agree. I like a little bit more to be a little bit more independent. I like to have a little bit more control over my channel. Just like with my life, I don't want to get into politics, but something like taxes. I'd rather have a little bit more control on over my life than some kind of program. But everybody has different opinions on that. Anyways, we'll get into that. Making Sense says, "What up, Keith? How you doing, everybody?" Randy Hader says, "Scent of the day is Rhyolite." Y'all know that Happy Land fragrances are good value for money. They're extracts, they last, they smell really nice, and Rhyolite is a really nice smooth gourmand. If you like something like Guerlain Homme Ideal. A lot of people talk about that fragrance. If you want something that's a little bit more gourmand, something that has better performance, I really like Rhyolite. It's one of my favorites from them. I appreciate Signature and I appreciate Blue Fire. I really want to try the Cravat Noir that they have. I haven't tried that one yet. I'm not sure what I would think about the Amberland. And looking at the notes of the Seven or the Svin, or how if I can even speak, however you say that, I don't know if I'd be interested in that one exactly. But Happy Land's pretty good. They're not bad at all. Um, I don't get trolls on my channel for some strange reason. Fragrance Journey, I think you're just you say it like it is. I think your voice comes through and your personality, and I guess you. I don't know why people just don't want to mess with you. I don't know why, but and you talk about that niche stuff. I guess people. I guess those kinds of people don't want to argue with you because they probably don't know what you're talking about with your crazy cool fragrances. You got so much good stuff. I guess they just can't argue with it. And I'm not saying Mr. Cheapsense doesn't have good fragrances. He does. I'm just saying that if it's something that they know about, they can fight about it because they know what's at Macy's or or whatever. You got some of that exclusive juice. You got some of that voodoo juice. DJ says, I'm going to approach reviewers with one fragrance per video, not top tens, and no full bottle presentation reviewers of ones I don't like, very basic and streamlined. And I don't know, that's not Fragcom approved. And I know that's not Fragcom approved. Um, that's one of the things. I think that there should be more reviews just off of decants. I think that if you have two or three mils of juice, that you could wear the fragrance depending on how you spray, like 5 or 6 times. And if you have a nose, and if you think about the fragrance, I think that you can get a real opinion and review a fragrance based off 2 or 3 mils. In the past, maybe reviewers when they first started on YouTube just reviewed full size bottles of the things they owned and that they bought. But if you want to review a lot of variety, if you want to put up a lot of content, you can't, unless you have lots and lots of money, you can't afford to just buy bottles and bottles and bottles of designer fragrances or whatever it might be just to review them. I certainly don't have a budget of $3,000 just to buy all the all the designer fragrances just to review them just so I can sell them or something like that. I don't have that kind of money to throw, and honestly, I wouldn't want to do that because I'm very picky. I'm I might only like 10% of the new designer releases that come out. I think that we all are picky. I don't know if y'all are picky as I am. Fragrance Journey, you probably don't want anything to do with any of those designer fragrances. So I know that you're not spending your money on them. Anyways, making sense. What's up? Lol DJ Kinkai says, making sense says, Fragrance Journey, it's been, you are epic, and people can't find a way to have hate. Yeah, it's pretty hard to argue against him, isn't it? I don't I don't think it. People have poked fun at me in other ways, but I don't think they got a lot of traction. And if people push me the wrong way, if people talk bad about me, especially if it's not warranted. I mean, if you want to give me some constructive criticism, people have complained about my clothes. I mean, sure, my clothes aren't the best. I don't come out here with bad wrinkly clothes, but I do. I don't have a giant wardrobe of the best clothes in the world. Some people criticize that. Some people don't like my hair. Maybe some people don't like my face. I don't know. So I guess you can do that. But if you just come out here and just tell me I don't know anything about fragrances and get really angry about me, like I had some people really angry. I didn't block anybody. I think on the Amara video I did recently, but I had some people really mad at me because I was negative about Aqua Amara. I don't think it's as mass appealing as people make it out to be. I don't think it lasts as long as people make it out to be. And I don't think it's really an aquatic at all. So I disagree with people on all kinds of fronts about Aquamara. I also don't think it smells as good as people make it out to be. And also, people don't want to recognize or talk about that fragrance was stinking up the shelves. That fragrance was not moving, it was not selling, it was sitting in warehouses, it was being liquidated. They just couldn't move this stuff until Jeremy Fragrance talked about it. I don't know if him and Bulgari worked together, or maybe a big distributor had talked with Jeremy. I don't know what happened there. I honestly don't know, but I don't want to make any accusation like that, but just trust me that nobody in the fragrance community cared about that fragrance. Almost nobody ever talked about that fragrance until Jeremy Fragrance did, and I think Demi and some other reviewers just kept putting it in top 10 list over and over and over and over, and that's why it got so popular, and it doesn't really deserve the popularity. If y'all know Mr. Miami Cuddles, he did a video, and he and Fragrance Apprentice were really funny and tried to joke and kind of raise some awareness. It's like, first we're going to talk about Aqua Amara. So I thought it was pretty funny, and he did his video of the original, the Aqua, and I'm going to do my video pretty soon, more for maybe in the future, when I talk about summer fragrances. But guys, the Aqua is, in my opinion at least, is way better than the Amara. Definitely go to your mall, try them out. Let me know what you think. But there's some fragrances out here that are hyped, and they're just, some of them are kind of warranted, and some of them really don't. Of course, I have my own opinions, and it's just an opinion. I'm not the end all be all of fragrance opinions or thoughts. So, George Rocha says, into the day, Herod. Oh, I'm way back. I'm way back. Let me catch up. Let me see here. Because you're epic. Yeah. And Mr. Cheapson says, yeah, this one particular person keeps poking and looking for responses, but I'm over all that. And they need to move on. I think it just needs a hug or something. You never know. There could be somebody really lonely. Maybe they have a disability. Maybe they just have a bad life. Maybe they just work a bad job and they have no friends and no family. And they're kind of trying to get a kick out of poking fun at you. And maybe that's what they want. I know that there was a guy giving you a hard time about your beard or your shirts or something, your clothes. I mean, if he keeps it up, and if you've just had enough of it, just block him. Just block him. I had somebody on Facebook. I usually don't block people, and I care about people. I had somebody message me out of the blue and ask me why I blocked them, and I hadn't blocked them, and I don't know why they said that. And sometimes I have, like, like spidey senses, or you kind of get that sense that something's off, and I looked at their chat. I mean, I looked at their Facebook account and all these things, and I really didn't want anything to do with the guy, with what he had on his profile, just to begin with. And I didn't know who this guy really was, so I just ended up blocking him, because it's not worth trying to figure out who this guy was and why he was trying to pick a fight, and trying to figure out what his problem was, because it's not my problem. I didn't have a problem, and sometimes it's just not worth your time. I used to do that in the past. I used to have my old personal Facebook, and I used to get into all kinds of strange fights about all kinds of weird topics about people, and people will fight over the weirdest stuff. And you can give them facts, you can give them statistics, you can give them reasoning, you can go to historical figures, you can go to different accounts in history, and you can give them like all of this data. You can give them all this empirical evidence, and they'll just be like, nope, and they won't even acknowledge it, and then they'll throw another emotional attack at you. So it's just not worth your time to get invested with some of these people. But I try to give everybody a fair chance. And I had one situation with one pretty big guy, an influential person, I guess I should say, one really big influential person in the fragrance community. I guess he just personally got offended for some reason, because of one of my comments about his fragrance. I won't mention him. I won't say who it was directly. But you never know what's going on with somebody's lives. I tried to talk to him. I think we overcame the issue. He just got personally offended. He was having a rough time with a different situation, and he saw a comment of mine where the other fragrance reviewer was like a really, really big niche head. And I said, yeah, it's not exactly the most unique, like niche fragrance, because the fragrance we're talking about, I can't even say what it is because you'd figure everything out. But it's not the most unique. It's a good niche fragrance. It does have character. It's very well done. And I did a review. I stand behind what I said, but it's not the most artistic. And some people out there want strange niche fragrances. Some people out there want very creative, strange things. Fragrances that would offend the average person. And I was just saying that his fragrance isn't the most artistic fragrance, and he got offended, and I think we worked through it and talked about it, and he has things that are kind of unresolved from his past, and that's what I was kind of talking about with me being a psychiatrist. Some people say that I come off that way because I sometimes can help people work through things. um, life is funny, life is strange, but anyways, just ignore him, Mr. Cheap Sense. Keep going and doing what you're doing. Yeah, we're behind you, Mr. Cheap Sense, and just block him. If he bothers you, if he gets under your skin, if he just won't let up and he's being offensive and just being rude to you. I mean, just let him go. Just let him go. Um, Hugs for all making sense does. He's the care bear of the group. He says, "Everybody come together for the love." Cravat Noir is amazing. I really want to try it. I've heard good things. I've heard it smells similar to, I think, Tuxedo by YSL, and I really like that fragrance. It looks like it's a little bit darker. So if you're giving me a YSL Tuxedo with like a darker booze or like a dark leather, I'm gonna be all over that. I'm gonna be crazy about it. DJ says, yeah, I don't understand reviewing a $90 full presentation of Secretions Magnifique. It's like it's gross. Why did you pay that for a full presentation? Somebody's buying it out there, DJ. I don't know who's buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't really care for it. I think I might have tried it once. I didn't find it as scary as some people. I found like it was kind of almost like an Ambroxan fragrance. It was kind of like a weird, like something like it was kind of like a smell from a crime scene in a really weird way. Not like a horror movie or anything strange like that, but something like you would find at a crime scene, with like drugs and like it was just a weird fragrance. Yeah, it's strange, but somebody's wearing it. Somebody out there today wore Secretions Magnifique and liked it. One person out there in the world pulled out Secretions Magnifique and said, I'm going to wear this today, and I don't care about what anybody else thinks. So, somebody did it. Scent of the Night is light blue intense. To be honest, I think the saltiness in the regular vintage light blue was the note that made it shine. I am a bit sad that Dolce & Gabbana used the same name and add intense up for this one. I've heard really good things about that one, so I'm kind of surprised to hear that you don't like it. But yeah, I think I like saltiness too. But they probably were trying to make it more unisex, or maybe it's a little bit more mass appealing because it's not salty. If you want the salt and if you want something that has tons of ambergris, buy Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Swimming in Lipari. Trust me, guys, when summer rolls around, I'll be talking about that fragrance again like I did last year. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Swimming in Lipari is the saltiest fragrance, like Ocean Breeze, has tons of ambergris or ambroxan. I mean, it's if you don't like ambroxan, it's gonna offend you big time. But it's so salty, and I love salty fragrances, and it stands up to the heat very well. So, if you miss the salt, and if you want a lot of salt, and if you're not afraid of the good old ambergris that everybody seem to put into all the fragrances, definitely give Swimming in Lipari a chance. It smells like the ocean. Fragrance Dog's in the house. My brother from Germany. He's a cool guy. I need to try to learn German, but he's a cool guy. He always pops in, says hello. Mr. Cheapsit says, Fragrance Journey, I don't pay them any attention. I don't even watch their videos, but I think the trolls still trying to make me aware of what's going on, and they get mad because I don't respond. Well, are the trolls other fragrance reviewers? I don't know. But again, Mr. Cheap, since you can block them from your channel so their comments don't show up and their comments are worthless. They're just speaking to the breeze. They're just yapping. And you don't have to ever see their comments. People are funny, man. They still feel like there's a they're they're picking that fight at you. Anyways, Duke says, I'm a huge fan of Zoha Aroma. If I had the money, I'd order the entire collection. Zoha has some pretty good fragrances. I do like their oils, their attars. They're worth the money. They smell nice. They smell very darn close to the real things. I have no reason to buy Leighton. I got their version of Leighton and some of their other ones, and this smells really nice. And I have to say that their Napoleon cologne is their adaptation of a Ventus cologne. In my opinion, it's pretty much the best value, the best cologne on the market for both a Ventus, and it's certainly much better than a Ventus cologne, in my opinion. Definitely check that one out from Zoha if y'all are looking for that kind of smell. If y'all are looking for something fresh and mass appealing, and you like a Ventus, try out Napoleon Cologne. I think y'all like it. It's pretty good stuff. Joseph says, P.S. Thank you for letting us know about Amara. I thought about buying it soon. I know, Joseph. That's why I did that darn video. People are hyping up Amara, especially with the summer coming. People are going to be talking about Amara left and right. It's going to be in top 10 videos. People are going to immortalize the darn thing and act like it was the best summer fragrance that was ever made. And it really bothers me because I think it's discontinued. Maybe Bulgari came back and re-released it because the prices haven't been shooting up but yet. But if that stuff really is discontinued and maybe the last of the stock is being sold off, I mean, last time I saw, a bottle was, you probably really couldn't get a full-size bottle for anything less than 80 bucks or so. And I just don't want these new guys in the community coming in. And the fragrance cost 100, 150, 200 bucks for a designer fragrance. And somebody asks, what's a long-lasting summer fragrance? What's a great smelling summer fragrance? What's going to get me compliments? And somebody's going to say Aqua Amara. And it's not even a summer fragrance. It doesn't do well in the heat. It can get you, any fragrance can get you compliments. It's not a big compliment getter. It lasted pretty well, no doubt. It was a 7-8 hour fragrance, and it did have pretty good darn projection overall. But I don't know if I would call it beast mode. It just misses. It's just a miss. But of course, it's my opinion. Go watch some Mr. Miami Cuddles. I mean, get his opinion as well. I'd love to know your opinion on it. I think you might have done a review, Mr. Cheap Sense. If you want to put your opinion out there again, let us know what you think about Aqua Amara. If you like it, hey man, I respect you 100%. But I just don't think it's worth the craze. It's not worth the hype. So I'm happy that I helped you, Joseph. I'm happy that I helped one person out there. Maybe not dive into it. But of course, if you can get a sample, if it does sound interesting to you, get a sample because you might have a different opinion than me. I always encourage y'all to wear what you love, to rock what you got. And if you love Aqua Amara, I mean, all power to you. Respect 100%. But I just really don't like when a discontinued fragrance is hyped up and then the price keeps soaring and then there's like new people who get into the community or people who have smaller collections and then they're like, oh, this is what you need. This is the real stuff. And it's just crazy. I mean, it bothers me. So it's, y'all know how it is. Like if for example, if Encre Noir by Lalique was discontinued, if that darn fragrance gets discontinued anytime soon, that stuff will jump up to $200 a bottle, and they might be telling young guys that they need to wear that stuff. And any guy younger than 30 is probably going to be scared and run the other direction from Encre Noir because it's dark, it's intense, and it's inky. It's a good fragrance, no doubt about it. It smells classy. It's a very good value for the money for $30 or maybe even less than 30 bucks. I mean, Encre Noir is fantastic, but suggesting it to a young guy who just wants to smell good to the ladies, or just wants to smell good walking out on the town, something he can wear in 24/7. I mean, don't go suggesting Encre Noir. I've seen it in comment sections. I've seen it in the Facebook groups. Don't be suggesting to a 22-year-old guy Encre Noir, guys. That's just my opinion, but don't be doing that. Be suggesting, something nice, something classy, something fresh, something that he's going to understand. Maybe introduce him a little bit toward in the niche world, or maybe a little bit of some of that Dior some of that good stuff. Um, if that stuff's not discontinued, it probably will, with Dior touching all the fragrance concentrations. Anyways, let me see. Eugene Baptiste says I just got off Fragrance Net and they have a 100 ml bottle Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct for 110 bucks. I know that's all the hype train, but when I first got it, it was 28 bucks. Is First Instinct discontinued? Is that one discontinued? That fragrance is a good fragrance. It smells very nice, especially for a younger guy. It's a good fragrance, but I agree, it's not worth 110 bucks. There's, I mean, that's again when we're talking about value for money, you can get plenty of good fragrances that pretty much smell just as good. You could get two fragrances for the price of one right there. You could pay 50 bucks for one, get another $50 fragrance, on Fragrance Net, as a younger guy. And if it's just a really young guy and he just wants to smell nice, uh, you know, my goodness, Nautica Voyage smells pretty darn similar to First Instinct. I think First Instinct probably smells even better than Nautica Voyage, but for a young guy, a $20 fragrance, I mean, come on, man. Anyways, Fragrance Dog says, "What's your scent of the day?" Well, I'm wearing all kinds of things. Let me see. I have some of those scent library oils. I still have a little bit of that trailing on my hand, and I've been smelling. I think we're just gonna chat. We've already been on here for an hour, so maybe I'll do a live and get into some of my more indie fragrances. I have a lot of these indie fragrances to share with y'all. I could tell y'all some of the names of some of these. Chocolate Stout by Sucre Labelle is super fun. Let's Be Bad Guys. I got all kinds of funny stuff. This one's called Arsenic Poison. There's all kinds of funny artistic stuff out there. So, anyways, I hate the hype game. It's dishonest and cruel to viewers. Yeah, I agree. It's one thing to say that you love a fragrance. It's one thing to talk about how good it is. But you know that some people can be charismatic and they can be passionate and they can convince people to buy fragrances, and it really doesn't help people, especially if it's a discontinued fragrance. It's just not a good thing. I completely agree. Um, I like, for example, I guess you could say I kind of tried to hype Mahari's by El Herbalario, but I did that because almost nobody knew about it. I was really the first person to really review it, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's a fantastic value for money. It lasts, and I think it actually smells pretty unique. It does smell somewhat similar to Musk Ravageur, but it's a pretty unique smell. So there's not a lot out there that smells like that at all. So I mean, it's one thing to put love behind a fragrance and try to get the news out and to be excited. It's another thing to like tell people you need to have this. Like when people do a top 10 list and they say like top 10 fragrances you have to have, or top 10 fragrances you should have, or must buys, or something like that. I'll never do those. Those kind of videos bother me when somebody says you have to buy those. There's a fragrance reviewer, I won't say his name. I don't even think he reviews fragrances anymore. I think he's stopped reviewing for almost 2 years now. But he did a video that really just rubbed me the wrong way. It was when I first kind of, I was earlier into fragrances and I hadn't even started my YouTube channel yet. And he said that if you're essentially serious about fragrances, if you like fragrances, you're essentially you know nothing or your fragrance is terrible. Essentially, if you don't have Mont Blanc individual, and I don't like that fragrance at all. For me personally, I don't like it. I respect anybody who wears it or who likes it. It's a really good value for the money. It's a good fragrance for the money. It's just not my personality, and I don't want to wear it. And he's here like, buy it. You got to get it. Buy it now. Do it. And I'm like, no, I don't want it. I'm not gonna buy it. No. Anyways, let me guess, Jeremy. Um, if you're talking about Aqua Amara, you're 100% right. 100%. I'm wearing Killian's Back to Black by Zoha. So cozy. Yeah, that's a. I bet that's a good one. I don't think I've tried that one yet, but you're right, Duke. Zoha has some good stuff. I bought it. Sec Mag. I'm not sure what that means. You gotta spell it out for me. Maybe I'm a little bit slow. Have you tried the new Niche House Fluid Secretions? Ah, Duke, come on, man. You got me. You're a knee slapper. Anyways, it says lol. I purchased it is a frag fan. Um, oh, you're talking about Secretions Magnifique. Anyways, lol. I purchased it as a frag fan and like a Michael Jordan baseball card. Baseball fan. I wanted it because it's such a part of the fragrance history. Well, if you have a lot of money to throw, if you got a lot of money to throw around in a big collection, you might just love it. Fragrance Dog says, thank you, bro. Mr. Mammy Cuddles says, Aqua Amara. Jeremy hyped it. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Mammy Cuddles. He did it. He hyped it. And everybody started following suit, making the top 10 list, talking about how good it was. It's just crazy about how influential some people are. And I'm not trying to say Jeremy isn't influential or maybe shouldn't be influential. I just think it's crazy. If you're a fragrance reviewer and if you're a critical nose, it's like, come on. It's like not everybody's going to agree with Jeremy and not everybody's going to like Aqua Amara. And I mean, some of us are the few voices of reason or opposition. And that's one reason why YouTube is so good and there's reviewers. You're going to get different opinions from all kinds of different people who have all kinds of different thoughts. And then you kind of, get a feel for the fragrance and you understand it. If everybody's saying the same darn thing, it's like either, everybody's wrong or somebody's just going to trust and they're going to get burned. So, anyway, some people are sipping on that juice. They think that Aqua Amara is like the best summer fragrance. It's not even a summer fragrance. It's not a summer fragrance. It doesn't do well in the heat. It smells like bitter oranges. It smells like church incense, and it smells like a weird, oily, almost like violet patchouli smell. It's not a summer fragrance. And people are like, it's the best summer fragrance. And salt. And it has salt in it, of course. So, scent of the day is Ormond Jane Zizon. That's a really nice fragrance if you like those classic citrusy masculine fragrances. That's a really fresh citrusy lemony fragrance. It's really nice. I let my dad smell a decant of that one time and he went bonkers. He wants a bottle. I don't think he wants to pay the Ormond Jane price, but he really likes that Zizon. If I had enough money, I know a good gift I could buy. He'd love that stuff. Same, how did you find out about that gym? Yeah, tell us, man. Tell us about the secrets. I happen to like Aqua Amara. They say it smells like rotten eggs. I don't get the rotten egg smell. Some people get that out of cologne. Or, seaweed smells. Or maybe it's from salt. I've seen people say that about Aqua Amara, about Aqua di Gio Essenza. I've seen people get blood and eggshell smells out of a lot of aquatics. Everybody smells differently, so, but I don't get, and stuff, but I don't get that. I did a review, but I didn't hype it. Yeah, I respect you, Mr. Cheap Sense. If you like it, 100% rock it. But you didn't try to hype it, so, Carnal Flores. Your name's kind of like Carnal Flowers, like the fragrance, but you're Flores. That's kind of a neat name. Some guy from FL named Louis Arg. I don't know what's going on there. I like Encre Noir. No, no, Encre Noir is good. I respect it. I don't exactly love it, but I don't hate it. I'm just with Encre Noir. I'm just saying that people, you have to keep the person in mind when you're recommending a fragrance to somebody. In these Facebook groups with these people, if you're talking to like a younger guy, all these gentlemen are sitting around, these experienced fragrance connoisseurs and these fragrance enthusiasts, and some of them really like their 80s powerhouses, and they're sitting back, maybe, I don't know, puffing a cigar or something. And somebody on Facebook, I've seen it happen time and time again. There's like this younger guy. He comes in here, he's 21, 22, 23, 24, maybe 25 years old, and he's like, what's a good, like, mass appealing fragrance, or what's something that's versatile and is a really good banger, for cheap, on the it's one of the best cheapies. And Encre Noir is one of the best cheapies out there. It definitely is. It's one of the best cheapies, no questions asked, undisputable. But as far as feeling mass appealing, no. It has good performance. Yeah, it has pretty good performance. It smells classy. It's excellent value, but it's a dark, inky vetiver. It smells very woody, very dark, very gothic. Um, for a younger guy who just wants something for the office, who wants to be charming, maybe to a lady, or just out and about on the street, to the supermarket, I just, no, 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 no. I don't think that's the way to go. Or what I mean, a good recommendation. Mr. Miami Cuddle says that's good. That guy has good taste. I have sent him a friend request. Building the fragrance world. Encre Noir is definitely not for the younger crowd. Yeah, I agree. That's just what I'm saying. And it's my opinion, of course. I know that I'm an old soul, and I usually like older fragrances. So one reason I feel that way is because I tend to like some of the older fragrances, maybe for my age range. And if I feel like if I don't feel comfortable wearing it for my age range, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna be. Anyways, oh my goodness, Cardinal Flores. Are you Joey Cannoli? Are you hiding, Cardinal Flores? Is that who you are? You're Joey Cannoli coming in here, talking that smack, chewing those gums at me? I want to know. Is that you? You're smacking that talk at me. Ben says, "Have you smelled Zizon?" I have smelled it. I have smelled it, Mr. Mammy Cuddles. It's a nice fragrance. It's good. I like Ormond Jane. I think that Mon Tobacco Intensivo is beautiful. I haven't tried any of the elixirs yet. They look really nice, and I usually gravitate towards more of the darker fall winter fragrances just in general. So I'm dying to try some of their elixir collection. But my goodness, that Mon Tobacco Intensivo. Some people might say it's a fougere, maybe a little bit of an aromatic, but it's a really interesting, modern, really wearable, kind of like a tobacco, of course, be a tobacco-ish scent. It's very interesting. It's really well done. Um, anyway, it says Bentley Man Absolute was a great purchase. Love it. I've heard great things about that one. I don't think I've tried the Absolute. I think that's the one in the black bottle that's supposed to smell like Gucci Pour Homme, like the first one, right? I think that's the one. Anyways, I think he has a S. Oh my goodness, y'all going crazy over there. Have you sampled? Yeah, yeah, I have. I've sampled Zizon. I've tried it. Come on, man. Have you ever tried Zrenia? I've never tried Zrenia. I don't know what that brand is. I've never heard of it before. Are they good? Are they expensive? What are we getting into, E. Jean Baptiste? What do we got going on? I have Aliyah. Gotta work. Have a great night, everybody. Hey, have a good night, making sense. Be safe. I guess you're working a night shift, or you're just working really late. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Drive safe. Have a good one. Mr. Rabbit Cuddle says, making dough. Yep, Neil. Making the big bucks. DJ says I have all the Xerenia fragrances except scam. Obviously, but I think some of them stand out a lot more than others. All right, DJ, which one would you recommend for me? Do they have any tobaccos, coffees, ouds? Do they have anything you think I might like? Do they have maybe something with mint? Crazy about that mint. Love it. Aaliyah is old school. I usually don't do fougères unless they're like really musk focused, like really modernized. I appreciate some fougères. I like John Varvatos Vintage. That's probably one of the most older fragrance. I guess older inspired fragrances that I like. I have to review it one day. Yeah, definitely. I look forward to your review, man. I look forward to it. That Zizon's legit. Um, Blue Dream is great, great. I've never tried Blue Dream. And Valley Vaughn, I wonder if you're still here. Where'd you go, Valley Vaughn? You like pop in here and then you disappear on me. You always do that to me. um, Joseph Tamaran or Tamarinian. I don't know how to say your name. It reminds me of Elder Scrolls. Benjamin, I'm thinking about blind buying Ultra Zest because I smelled it on my boss who bought it 2 years ago and really enjoyed it. Do you know if it's been reformulated? I don't know if I have. Has Ultra? I do wonder. Has Ultra Zest been discontinued? I think I remember seeing it discontinued the last time I looked, and I think Ultra Zest costs like $130 or something now for a bottle. I'm not sure if I'm exactly right, but I think Ultra Zest is kind of hard to get your hands on. It smells like a creamsicle. It smells like orange and cream and sweet. It is nice. I don't know if in much of any fragrances I could recommend for an alternative for something cheaper. It is kind of unique for what it is. If you want a fresh, happy, cheerful orange, for my personal taste, I'm always going to recommend pointing you towards good old Terre d'Hermes Autres Fresh, gorgeous fragrance. The orange in it is much brighter and much happier than the original, and it's more citrusy. It's just gorgeous. But I don't know. If you do like that Ultra Zest, I wouldn't wait any longer. If you're just crazy about it because the price is just going to keep going up. People still like that one. Maybe you could message Moogler and say if they have any old bottles in stock anywhere. I don't know. My next buy will be Mr. Oz fragrance for sure. I've heard he's got pretty good juice. I've heard he's got pretty good stuff. Um, I have a couple things I gotta buy. I just have to buy. One of them is a fragrance from Carabel. I think it's Caramint Bell or Carabella. They're from France, and they got a fragrance I really, really want, and it's like $70. But of course, I'm hurting for dough or I'm hurting for money, so um, I'm still trying to get out of the credit card issues. So Bulgari Maine is nice though. Uh-oh. I like it for a while, but then the pencil shaving vibe. Yeah, pencil shaving sometimes come through with some of those fragrances. Damn now. I'm thinking about the blue dreams. Hey, tonight, man, you're gonna be dreaming blue. Cardinal Flower is Victor Wang in. Oh my goodness, man, Victor Wang in drag. I didn't know he was up to that. I didn't know he did that kind of stuff. I don't know. That's the Mr. Zoologist guy, isn't it? He's a cool cat though. I like his brand. I like his stuff. I honestly haven't gotten my nose on too many of his fragrances. I've tried Camel. That's really nice. Again, if I was made of money, if I had a lot of money, I would buy that for my mom because that's one of the fragrances she's liked and that's ever been slightly like it's just very slightly animalic and she really does love those some of those tobacco-y sweet fragrances. She likes some of them and she loves Camel. And it has all that beautiful dried fruit and those like dates, kind of like raisin like smell in there. Uh, I want to try. By Killian's Milk and Cookies. What? I've never tried milk and cookies. I do like cookies and cream ice cream. They got a Nutella fragrance. I think you're just hungry, E. Jean Baptiste. I think you're just hungry. I'll buy a Matt Maleg fragrance if he comes with a retro Miami themed bottle. Oh goodness. Maybe message him. Maybe see what he's got going on. I'm sure he's trying to figure out his bottle designs, and he's trying to figure out what he's going to do with his brand. So maybe he want to talk to you. I don't know. He's a good guy. He's a really nice guy. He's pretty active on Instagram. I think he's gotten pretty busy recently, but he still is pretty active and he's cool. I need to do some reviews for the guy. I won one of his giveaways. He's a very good guy. Some people are very generous with me from time to time, and I really like to get my opinions on fragrances before I do reviews. And he was generous with me, so I got to do him a good review. Um, and I honestly like the fragrance. I love the fragrance, and I wouldn't give it a positive review unless I truly loved it. But again, it's not for everybody, anyways. Joseph Ultra Zest wasn't being produced long enough to be reformulated. It's out of production now. That's what I thought. Ultra Zest was really limited. They just didn't make a lot of bottles of it. Substantatar, good to see ya. Hey, backup bottle boss. It's good to see you too, my friend. It's good to see ya. How are you doing this evening? I'm doing pretty good. I've been on here for like an hour and 30, so we might have to wrap this up soon. But it's always good to see y'all. Joseph says, man, Hermes Autres Fresh is really, really nice. Thank you for letting me buy that one as a gift for my brother. He enjoyed it a lot. Do you think it's more versatile than Swimming in Lipari? That's really hard to say. I think they're probably both equally as versatile. With the Autres Fresh, it's to me more of a fresh, beautiful orange off the top. Then you're getting like a lot of geranium, which is kind of this like green rosy smell. It smells very classy. It doesn't smell old, but it can smell a little bit gentlemanly. But it's very fresh and crisp and citrusy. And then as the fragrance starts to keep drying down, there is some vetiver, but the vetiver really doesn't stand out. It doesn't really have any of that woody nature, and it's not a dark vetiver fragrance at all. It doesn't have any of that going on. In the dry down, instead of the earthiness and the almost crumbled leaf texture of the original Terre d'Hermes, I get a little bit more of a mineral feel. To me, it smells a little bit like more of a minerals or something like you could imagine from like an Alka-Seltzer, after it's done bubbling. So, Autres Fresh is highly versatile, but it does smell a little bit more classy. So, if I was to choose one over the other for versatile, it's probably the Swimmy and Lipari. It's very fresh. It's not particularly citrusy. It's very, very salty and it has tons of ambergris to it. To me, it resembles almost Versace Pour Homme. That one's also sometimes called Versace Signature, but it just has tons of salt to it and lots of ambergris. So it's going to fit any situation. It smells fresh and crisp and versatile, and it has really good longevity. Um, that one's a limited edition. Those limited editions don't sell out very quickly for some reason from Dolce & Gabbana. There's still some of them out that are from like 2014 you can still get your hands on. So I don't think the price is going to jump up or it's not going to get hard to get anytime soon. But I think it's a good value for money. I think you can get it for, what is it, like 40, 45 bucks or so for a full-size bottle or a big bottle. So it's not a bad price at all. And again, it really depends on your lifestyle. If you're a more well-to-do guy, if you're more in situations where you dress up a little bit classier, you might want the Autres Fresh. If you're a little bit of if your lifestyle's a little bit more classy. If you're just more of a regular kind of guy, I think the Dolce & Gabbana is the way to go. Xerenia has a fragrance called By Killian's Milk and Cookies. That's an awfully odd name. By Killian's Milk and Cookies. That's an odd name. If it was just called Milk and Cookies, I could understand a little bit, but by Killian's? Were they trying to poke fun at Killian? I don't know. I don't understand that. Zarenia says, Aya Frag gives like 65% to her memorial fund. Not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is it expensive? Are y'all trying to get me into some exclusive juice? I can't be buying expensive stuff. At least at this point, I don't have the money. Uh, Thank you for answering, Backup Bottle Boss. Thanks, Benjamin. Yeah, I hope I helped you out. Recommend a super strong aquatic you like. I mean, Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Swimmy Lapari it's an aquatic, I guess you could say. It has the cologne smell. It's not overtly citrusy. It has the salt. It has everything going on. The ambergris. It smells like a sea breeze to me, and it's gorgeous. But if you want a recommendation for a strong aquatic, um, aquatics just in general aren't long-lasting fragrances because they're mostly based off top notes. They're based more on like lighter citrusy notes and ocean notes that just don't last usually. So one of the better ones, I'm just going to echo Mr. Miami Cuddles. He made a good video and he told people the truth. I mean, the original Aqua by Bulgari, the original in the blue bottle. Atlantique is probably better for the younger crowd. It's not a bad fragrance, but if you want something that has better projection, the Aqua is the way to go. On my skin, it's a 6, 7. I'm lucky if I get 8 if I overspray. It's more of a 6, 7 hour ish fragrance. So longevity isn't exactly spectacular, but the projection is really good, or it's above average for sure. I wouldn't say it's beast mode, but it's definitely very noticeable from Aqua. So as far as a summer fragrance goes, it's a little bit darker. It's got a lot of seaweed. It's got a lot of salt. The original the original Aqua by Bulgari is a very solid summer fragrance. It's a good way to go, definitely. And about one of the only other ones that I knew of that was really good was the Aqua di Gio Essenza, but it's been discontinued and the prices for it are ridiculous. I actually sold my bottle, so I do not recommend that you go seeking out Aqua di Gio Essenza unless you somehow find it, for, 60, 70, 80 bucks. I wouldn't recommend that one. Alia's out of stock. Oh goodness, that's a shame. I have Bulgari Marine and love it. Yeah, a lot of people do like the Marine. It doesn't have a lot of longevity. That's what a lot of people complain about, but it's a pretty good smell, no doubt about it. Credo Rolfa is a good aquatic. It's a good fragrance. It's another one where I'm not sure how aquatic it is. It's kind of on that edge, that teeter totter. And of course, Creed and Creed prices. Y'all know I'm just not a big fan of Creed. Kind of like Mr. Cheap Sense. I mean, we're just not Creed guys. Um, Aaliyah is a rock R&B singer that died in his early age in 2001. This fragrance is an extrait de parfum and goes for about $64 for regular release and $72 for the limited edition. That doesn't sound too bad. Maybe I'll have to look into it. I like the very marine and beachy green blue ones for sure. All right, yeah. I think that you definitely have to try out the Aqua. I think that you would like it if you want something a little bit more light and fresh. I think that there's some gin and there's this like interesting, almost like juniper, almost like a tiny bit of gin booziness that's to the marine version. A lot of people they struggle with the marine because it just doesn't last very long. And then in the dry down, it does seem to become the woodiness does seem to come out a little bit more pronounced. So, kind of odd that way. R. Kelly, oh, R. Kelly's girlfriend, okay. Um, Bulgari Aqua, mild projection, the scent lasts a long time. Yeah, it's not bad on the longevity uh, at all. Yeah, for sure. The Bulgari Aqua, it does last pretty well, Mister Mikos, for sure. And it's not bad on the projection. I would say it's above average probably lasts a little bit longer than average and projects a pretty good amount, no doubt about it. And I really like it too, so I'm with you. I'm going to do a review, Mr. Miami Cuddles, and we're going to try to spread the goodness of that fragrance because, again, people get behind these hype trains and people seem to follow trends. If they see a bigger reviewer talking about something, then they want to say it's good, and that's how it seems like how it works. I want to see more reviewers reviewing odd fragrances, discoveries, things that they found, old, new, vintage, everything in between, talking about what they really love. Like, what do they love? There's so many reviewers out there. I'm like, I don't know their style. I don't know what they personally like. All I know is that they're wearing, Sauvage and Dylan Blues and Aventus. I don't know what they really like. If y'all pay attention to the bottles, the full-size bottles that I own, and the things I talk about that I really love, y'all get a taste for what I like. I like musk, I like leather, I like ouds, and I do like a good gourmand if it's done right. So I got my own taste, I got my own style, and I want to see more of that in the fragrance community. I want to see more people sharing their style, showing their personality, and that also helps us gauge what kind of taste they have. Like, like I want to find a reviewer who loves gourmands, and that's like all they do. And if I want to know about a gourmand, I want to go to that guy or that lady, and she knows everything about the gourmands. And if I have a question and I want to know about it, I mean, they're gonna know. They're gonna know all the details, and they're gonna say no, yes, so go for it, don't go. For example, if you want an animalic fragrance, if you want the skanky fragrances, if you want the beast, if you want to smell, get that skank on, check out Fragrance Journey. He is essentially your professional. He's your guru. He knows about the skanky fragrances. Trust his nose, get his opinion. He's a good guy too, so he'll help you out. So some of these guys have lots of taste. Like, some of these people who really like Creed, I mean, go for them for Creed. Everybody knows, like with Eugene, I mean, if you want to know about a Guerlain fragrance, who do you ask? You ask Eugene. Because he knows Guerlain through and through. He's crazy about Guerlain, and he's essentially the go-to Guerlain guy. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. Um, so hope my little rant's over. Hope that y'all like that. Um, Profumo is available at discounters. Yeah, Acqua di Gio Profumo is really nice. Um, Honestly, it smells a little bit more dark and incensey to me. So as far as like a summer fragrance goes, I don't know if it's a good. It could work in a summer night, no doubt about it. But for high summer heat, I don't know if Profumo would be the best choice. I usually hoard my Essenza sources because people buy it and sell it on eBay not to wear it. Well, you might want to buy it all for yourself and then maybe sell what you don't want because they'll probably find it and they'll probably, try to make a quick buck. I can't blame them though. I went to an opening day at Hudson's one time, and my dad bought Dior Homme Parfum. He really wanted the fragrance, but he ended up not liking it, so he flipped it and doubled his money. And I should have bought both bottles and of Gavinci Play Intense, but I just bought one. I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not, and my used bottle flipped, and I almost doubled my money. So, I mean, if you know what you're looking for, if you know what fragrances are worth, you can make a dollar here and there. So, and that's always really nice. And they at this place, I don't have no idea. Again, I live in a poor, more rural state, and I don't know what kind of inventory they pulled these out of. But there was some. I'm trying to remember what brand it was. It was like some Baldessarini collection, and it was like some really odd flanker. It was like a flanker of a flanker of like some kind of tropical Baldessarini fragrance that like there was only like one of them on eBay. They were like super rare and they were worth like 150 bucks plus. And the only ones you could find on eBay, there was like one bottle in Spain or something. It's like I don't know. You can find the craziest stuff if you're lucky. So my dad flipped them. I mean, he made bucks. You know, we were looking at them for the longest time, and I was like, Dad, we should look on eBay and see if anybody's selling this because I've never heard of this or seen it before. I should ask him. I don't even know what it's called anymore. But he opened one of them, and it smelled nice and fresh and minty, but it didn't last very long. Um, Anyways, need more aldehydic, laundry-esque musk type fragrances. You like that kind of stuff? That stuff that smells musky and soapy, DJ? Um, you might want to check out About Last Night. Um, I think you might like that one. It's called About Last Night. It's from the house called Confessions of a Rebel. It's not the strongest fragrance. It's kind of like an average performing fragrance, but it's very different. It's kind of wild, and it's kind of in that scheme of things. Um, have you tried? I think it's like Chanel number five. There's one of the Chanels, or maybe Chanel number five. There's like an Eau Fraiche. There's some kind of version that has grain juice, and I definitely would look into that. You might just like it, DJ. Uh, Modern projection, not mild. I was addicted to Aqua Pour Homme. Yeah, I watched your review, my friend, and I remember you bought like 10 samples or a dozen samples, and then you had just had to buy the bottle. Aqua Pour Homme needs hype. I agree. It's one of the best aquatics on the market. The original Aqua is one of the best values for money as far as aquatic scents on the market. There's not a lot of good designer aquatic fragrances, in my opinion. There's plenty of blue fragrances. There's an ocean. There's thousands of blue fragrances, but there's not a lot of good, actually good, well made ones that have decent performance aquatics, and even in the designer world. I don't know why that is, and Bulgari Aqua is one of them, no doubt about it. So definitely, Mr. Miami Cuddles, you're right about that. Aqua, no, no, not the Aquamara. Jerry. Jerry D, hyped by Jeremy. Yep, that's the one. Jeremy done did it. He done did it. Really tired of. I'm already tired of Armoff Milestone. I haven't heard too much about it. What does it smell like? What do you think about that one? Time to smash the bottle. um, I think we're. Are y'all? Can y'all hear me? I think we're getting disconnected. Either my power's getting out, or I've been on here for almost 2 hours. So the world and the internet gods are telling me that I need to get off. Anyways, time to smash the bottle. What up, Ben? Hey, Ray, you stopped by at the very end of my live. Robes of Wait says loves the skank. He can't help. He can help you. Oh, I'm sure Robes of Wait's one of those guys. He has a crazy collection. He's a real OG. He's been in the game, I think, for what, like 8 or 9 years or more now. Eugene is a master of Chanel and Maul also. Oh, I didn't know. I thought he loved Chanel, but I didn't know he was a lover of Frederick Maul. I didn't know about that one. So you're right for sure. Aqua di Gio Absolute is nice. I tried it. I have to be honest. I think that was the one I felt was more of a younger man scent. Again, I have a little bit more of a rugged personality, so it didn't work for me. It was a little bit too happy, I guess. A little bit too playful. I don't know. Aqua di Gio Absolute is awesome. Smells like wealth for real. No, it's a good fragrance, for sure. But of course, not everything is going to work for everybody, and we all got our taste. So, anyways, Jerry D says 100. I know of a discounter in the south of Italy that has thousands of vintage Chanel's and Dior. I can make millions of buying and selling them. Do it. Hey, and if you want to start a venture, let me know. Let me know what I can do to help you. I'll help you design your website or something. Backup bottle boss. Mr. Miami Cuddles, Jeroboam. If I had the money, I'd purchase all the Jeroboams. Y'all gotta let me know which ones are good. Let me know what I should look out for. I like ambrette. I like leathers. I like sometimes gourmands if they're more like stronger. I don't like a sweet playful. I don't like a dainty gourmand. Like I respect what is that fragrance called by Tom Ford? Uh, what is it called? It's like something noir. And no, not it's not. It's not the anthracite. Noir. Noir Extreme. That's the one. You're exactly right. It's perfectly fun. It's a perfectly good fragrance. It's nice. It's good for date nights. It's soft. It's kind of, it's nice. It's charming. It's inoffensive. But Noir Extreme doesn't have the bold confidence behind it. It doesn't have the punch. It doesn't. It's perfectly unisex. I think. I think a lady could happily wear that one, and I want something with a little bit more punch, a little bit more punch to it. If I had the money, oh, okay. Noir Extreme, Jeroboam's don't give free samples. Oh, that's a shame. I'll look into the brand a little bit. I've reached out to them already. Okay, I trust you. I'll. I mean, I got to look at their brand. Jeroboam Vesper. Is that the one that's kind of smoky and incense-y? I think that's actually on my wish list, but I've never tried it. And I think the design on the bottle has like a pyramid or something, or I can't even do it. Being an idiot over here. Amazing. Yeah, I think that one's kind of smoky and incensey too, isn't it? And it has like an upside down triangle on it. Anyways, I gotta try that one out. So thanks for reminding me about it. Jeroboam 1 ounce black bottle. Black bottle. Oscar Lopez says, hi, my friend. I gotta go. I've been on here for almost two hours. It's really nice chatting with y'all and having a good time, but I probably should go. Backup Bottles Boss says, if you guys email Hermes, they will send you 2 4 ml samples of the Hermes's. It's like Ombre Narguilé. I didn't know that. These brands are probably going to stop sending me samples. I was lucky enough to get early on a promotion from for Gucci King, Gucci King, and they sent me a sample, and I forgot. I don't think I even responded to their follow up. They wanted to know my thoughts about it. I did a review on my channel, and I actually gave them a negative review about not Gucci. I think it was is it Gucci? I think it's Gucci. No, that's Dolce Gabbana. I'm mixing things up. Dolce Gabbana K, the one with the king. Yeah, Dolce Gabbana. And I gave them a negative review, so they probably don't want to send me anything anymore. Mr. My McCuddles he's just flat out. He's just like no bar. He's just like honesty, no bars. He just says it. It sucks. He just slaps it. Anyways, thanks for letting us know about that backup bottle, boss. I might have to check it out. Check out some more of those Hermes fragrances. I have tried I've tried Hermes. I think that Rocabar is one of the best fougères or classic masculine scents out there. Rocabar Vetiver is amazing too. Amazing fragrance. Y'all know I love the Terre de Hermes line. I like all of them, but I do like the Eau Tres Fresh the best. I need to try some more of them. I know there's a lot of them out there that are nice. So, damn, a small channel talking bad about free samples from a company too honest. I gotta say it like it is. I've done stuff like that before. I've given some people sent me free stuff before, and I've given them lukewarm reviews. You don't love everything in the world. You just can't love everything. Happy Land Fragrances is wonderful and they have great fragrances, but I know that you really love Barbershop, Mr. Mammy Cuddles, but it didn't work for me, and I kind of said that in my review. And the coffee one, I'm trying to remember what the coffee one. It was like Cure, Cure something. Can't remember. The coffee was just way too strong. I felt very similar to Mr. Cheap Sense. The coffee was just very, very strong, and I wish that there was more going on in the dry down. I like the smell of coffee, but I don't want to smell like a walking barista. So, anyways, yeah, better to be honest. I agree. 100% honesty. That's the way to be. Steven loves everything. Hey, some people aren't as picky. I'm fairly opinionated. But I do think, I personally, in my opinion, I think it's honest that you share, even if you like everything, you got to tell people what do you like, really love, and what do you like, just appreciate. It's one thing if a fragrance is just okay, and you don't want to say it's bad, but it's one thing to just say everything's good. You got to say some things you truly love it. to help people understand like your feelings and what you think about the fragrance and all those kinds of things. So, um, just because being polite, one most masculine fragrances on camera. He likes everything. I stopped watching Steven. Um, if it's a new release, if I want a little bit of feedback, or get introduced to a fragrance, if it's something really new, I'll still watch him. But out and over 1,000 fragrances, I only dislike five, maybe. Oh man. Well, you. Well, hopefully you have the budget to buy almost everything. I'm very picky. I'm very picky about what I like to keep around. So they are meant to smell good, lol. Yeah, well, you're right. Especially with designers. I mean, they're made to be mass appealing, and most people like almost anything that's in a mall. I mean, if you go to a mall, the average person's probably going to like 70% of what's in the mall. So I understand what you're saying there. But some of us in the fragrance community just get awful, awful picky. We get really, really picky because we smell so much, and I guess we can afford to start getting picky. Um, there are a lot of crap. Yeah, there's a lot of ones that I don't like either. The ones I hate is Aqua Geo Code Absolute, the worst fragrance. You hate that Tonka, if I remember right. You just really don't like Tonka, Mr. Memmy Cuddles. That's not your thing. Yeah, I know people love it. It sells like hotcakes. People love that stuff. I do get that Coca-Cola, Pepsi vibe, and I don't love the fragrance, but I don't think I hate it. If I had to wear it a lot, I probably would grow to dislike it because I do find it kind of annoying or kind of cloying. But I've never bothered to sit down and wear that fragrance over and over and over. So Code Absolute smells like roach spray. Hey, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good at all. Anyways, we've been here for 2 hours. I hate when I'm kind of near a water tower abouts, and I hate when the generator and all that stuff. I knew if something was out there watching me. It's our cat, funny little cat. The guy who asked for many fragrances tries Zaharoff Pour Homme. Yeah, that's a very good classic masculine fragrance. It's more of like a modern fougere, and it has a little bit of that. It has some strength of character behind it. I wouldn't say it's a dark fragrance, but it's really nice. It's a really good fragrance. Lewis loves Code Absolute. Yes, Zaharoff Pour Homme for real man. Yeah, definitely for sure for the macho man. I love Roach Spray. What was that fragrance that Dan you know Mr. Smelly wears that Claire jokes about smelling like bug spray? There's one of those Aqua de Parmas, and he loves that fragrance, and she always says it smells like bug spray. I don't remember. It's one of those Aqua de Geo. I mean Aqua de Parmas. Asenza. Yeah, that's the one. Some of those fragrances can smell like that, so you never know. Anyways, I gotta go, my friends. I should go. Hey, you're right, man. It's good to see all of y'all. I really do appreciate y'all. I appreciate all of your love and all your friendship. Appreciate that all of y'all stuck around with me and had a chat for like 2 hours. There's still almost 10 of you here. It's really nice to hang out with y'all and be a good friend. If y'all ever have any questions you want to know about a fragrance, you want to know my thoughts, my opinions, you want to share a fragrance that I don't know about, you want to tell me something, feel free to reach out to me on my Facebook, Scentatar Fragrance. I have a Scentatar Fragrance family group. It's a no drama group if you want to join that. And I do have an Instagram, Scentatar_fragrance. If you want to hang out with me, I share giveaways. I'm very active on Instagram. I love the platform. And there's a lot of giveaways happening here and there. If you're in the UK, somebody just put up a giveaway for a full bottle of, I'm trying to remember the name. Is it Interlude? I think it's Interlude by Amouage. A full-size bottle of Amouage. So, boxed and everything, unopened. So, there's some good stuff. Good night. Essenza smells like upscale air freshener. Mr. Rabbit Cuddles just wants to burn everybody. Anyways, Senza is nice. Claire's nose is broken. I don't want to get into that. I like them both. I love watching them, and I think they're fun people. So I'll see y'all next time, my friends. I'll see ya. Have a good fragrance week. I think I'll do another live tomorrow. So I'll see y'all next time, my fragrance friends. Have a good evening. Best of wishes. Drive safe. Sleep well. Wear what you love. Rock what you got. And I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one, everybody. Yeah, I'll see you, Mr. Mammy Cuddles. I'll see you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.